The nature of life is to be unpredictable. There are a lot of strange occurrences that take place on a daily basis, and it appears that the most surprising things can be found in the most unexpected places. Drones can fly above the mortal plane and see things that are not intended to be photographed, capturing what normalized technology cannot. Let's have a deep look at drones made terrifying discoveries after spotting high up on the mountain. Number 15. Finding a missing person curled up on the riverbank. Now, it's unrealistic to hope to locate a missing person in the dead of night, in the middle of the night, let alone discover one curled up on the riverbank. But that's exactly what happened to Avon Somerset in April 21 using WhatsApp and 3 words. A caller gave the police information about their friend's last known location, which was in a rural area near rivers and streams. Police searched the area but were unable to find the missing person in the given circumstances, so they turned to the fire service for assistance. To find the person on this dark and foggy night, a drone would be deployed from the Avon Fire and Rescue Police Station, and using the drone's thermal imaging camera, they'd be able to determine the person's location. A few seconds later, however, crew could see an image where, when they enlarge it, they can clearly see the outline of a person curled up next to the river. Swift water rescue teams were immediately informed and directed to the precise location where the missing person was trapped before being rescued. In April 2021, Avon Fire and Rescue started their research and additional investments in drone technology, which would help save a person's life using that cutting-edge technology. Wow, how a technology saved a person. Who's the loneliest man in the world? Well, I've never met the guy, but since a drone met him, I don't think he's lonely anymore. Number 14. The loneliest man on Earth. Brazil is home to numerous uncounted tribes. A solo tribesman who lived alone in the Amazon rainforest for more than 20 years would be filmed as the world's loneliest man. For the very first time, the mysterious tribesman is seen swinging a handmade axe against a tree in the Tanaru indigenous territories. He is the sole survivor of an uncontacted tribe that was massacred in 1995. Tarnau's indigenous people have been evicted from their land and is subjected to a series of brutal attacks by shooters, most likely hired by colonists and ranchers. The Indian Affairs Department of the Brazilian government confirmed the man's presence in 1996, but has respected his desire to avoid contact with mainstream society. Nonetheless, they have spent the last 22 years monitoring the survivor's territory to ensure its protection. According to the organization, the lone figure is also known as the Indian of the Hole because of the stave-filled hole that he digs up to trap animals. Officials have observed that the gardens the man has built throughout the forest where he has grown corn, bananas, papaya, and other things, as well as the holes up to 6.5 feet deep that he uses to catch animals and hide in. The man is believed to be between 55 and 60 years old and lives alone in the Amazon rainforest. His name, tribe, and language are all unknown. 13. Indian man trapped on the cliffside for 2 days without food and water. A young man on a trek with his friends became trapped and stranded on a sheer vertical face of an isolated canyon, turning what was supposed to be a fun experience into an absolute nightmare. When a man named Babu set out to climb Charade Hill with 2 others, he slipped and became stuck on the cleft of the hill. His friends tried everything from wooden sticks to logs and even ropes before deciding to head down the hill to seek the help of villagers and local authorities. Drone footage shows him sitting in what appears to be a perilous position on a ledge. The boy can be seen sitting on a crack in the canyon fairly far below the hilltop. Several attempts to rescue him are made, but none would be successful, including the use of a helicopter to get him down. Babu was facing the scorching heat with no food or water. He was stuck in the unbearable heat of day and the windy and cold weather of night, with fear of wild animals roaming around at the same time. The rescue mission was launched and army officers crawled for hours to reach him, providing him with water before assisting him to the hilltop. The Indian Army drone footage would show the moment Babu emerged safely with the help of a rope as rescue teams cheered him on. It was a terrifying event to witness, and many people said it reminded them of Danny Boyle's 127 Hours. Still, unlike Boyle's film, the Indian Army eventually rescued the man. Number 12. Police drone saves missing pensioner. When someone close to you goes missing, it's natural for your mind to race ahead to the worst case scenarios that could possibly unfold. Roy Giblin, who had become disoriented in the dense vegetation of the field, owes his life to a police drone that was able to locate him in the tall grass. After going out for an evening stroll on June 8, 2021, drone pilots would find Roy, who was only 82 years old at the time of their discovery, in the area where he had disappeared. The elderly man eventually became disoriented while walking through the overgrown grass, and when he failed to return home, his worried family contacted the authorities. The waters off the coast of North Wales were searched by search and rescue teams, as well as the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, or RNLI. Police officers from the National Police Air Service and a drone unit from the National Police Air Service were also involved in the search. In contrast to helicopters, unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, can conduct detailed imaging inspections from above and search close to the ground. Helicopters are limited in their ability to search such a small area. After an 18-hour search, Mr. Giblin was eventually discovered in a grassy area close to the train station that had grown overgrown with weeds. This will be demonstrated in the series of images that follows. His loved ones believe that without the assistance of the drone, he would not have had a chance of survival. The police arrested the electrons from the volcanic eruption, and they were charged under extraordinary circumstances. Number 11. Glowing lava lake in its full fiery splendor. Thanks to a special heat suit and some pretty cutting-edge technology, it is now nearly impossible to capture close-up images of the glowing lava lake inside a volcano. Embryovolcanoes' raging depths have actually been caught on camera by an intrepid adventurer. On the remote island of Ambrium in the Republic of Vanuatu, Sam Cosman and his team endured a perilous journey into the Marum crater in 2014. It is one of the only 7 lava lakes on the planet. In order to pursue his dream of becoming a digital storyteller and tech explorer, 33-year-old Sam would leave his home in San Francisco, California. Sam and his team would employ cutting-edge drones, virtual reality cameras, and wearable biometric sensors to better understand the geology of such a harsh environment. The project's goal was to learn more about the possibility of microbial life and colony in such a harsh environment. The findings would help scientists better understand the volcano and demonstrate how the highly controlled flying cameras might advance science and exploration, even though it was risky. A journey that featured violent rock molten explosion, toxic superheated gas, falling boulders, and acid rain before a significant flank eruption caused by an earthquake, which could have killed anyone nearby. The crew managed to return safely. Number 10. Police drone finds a car crash victim freezing to death. The victim of a car accident, who was found unconscious in a ditch that was 6 feet deep in the middle of the night, could not have been saved if it weren't for the modern technology of drones and the quick thinking of the police. When witnesses reported seeing a man leave the scene of an accident on the A16 south of Grimsby, where a car had flipped onto its side, the police in Lincolnshire used their drone equipped with thermal imaging to search the area rather than accepting offers from the police on Humberside to search on foot. The drone could locate the unconscious driver within a short amount of time, as he was lying in a ditch approximately 6 feet deep. Consciousness: the man was initially unresponsive and hypothermic. Still, he was okay thanks to the prompt deployment of the drone that would save his life, just as hypothermia was setting in, as another police officer is then seen walking towards the man while being directed by the drone pilot. When he finds him, he calls another officer who is then seen running to the scene as an ambulance is called. This is called real development. Number 9. Drones find unexpected radiation hotspots in a forest near Chernobyl. As a result of the explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in 1986, high levels of radiation caused between 4 and 6 kilometers of conference forest to perish. Before they passed away, the tree needles turned red, and the surrounding area came to be known as Chernobyl's Red. An interdisciplinary group flew specialized drones over the Red Forest in Ukraine, which is one of the most radioactive spots in the world and has been investigated by scientists from the United Kingdom for a considerable amount of time. Recent research using aerial drones have discovered radioactive hotspots close to the site of the catastrophic explosion that occurred at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in 1986. These hotspots do not appear on any official maps. It was already known that the Red Forest had higher overall radiation contamination levels than any other natural site on Earth. However, researchers found that the radioactivity in the area was actually unevenly distributed. Scientists use information gathered from drone observations to create the most detailed map possible of the radiation levels present within the Red Forest, which is located just 4 kilometers from the Chernobyl complex. Whoa, drones help a lot, which is beyond our thinking. Number 8. A vast forest fire. Videos of wildfires are always available, but they are typically shot from the ground or from a helicopter, neither of which can apparently inherently approach too closely. In contrast, while drones may experience similar difficulties to helicopters, such as choppy air and poor visibility, they can approach much closer while still being much safer than a helicopter carrying passengers. Every year, dozens of forest fires that are threatening people and property come to our attention. This video looks like a typical nature movie, although this particular fire's size is not as large as some of the recent wildfires on the west coast. It still appears enormous and provides a sense of scale for those enormous fires. You can see the smoke on the horizon until the drone flies above the tree line. Despite the fact that these drone operators did work specifically, when the drones zoom in for a closer look, the size of the fire becomes more apparent. A vast area of trees is burning and the smoke fills the air. The video of the fire offers a glimpse into all of the larger wildfires that do occasionally break out in Alaska, California, and other locations, as well as their effects as a warning to be careful with our actions and avoid doing anything that might endanger the environment. Any large fire should be avoided at all costs. Number 7. The scary shark hunt. Since the year 1975, sharks have been regarded as a potential danger. Researchers use a drone to film sharks from above because the water is cloudy. They capture one shark doing what sharks are best at, getting ready to eat, as seen above. The sharks then hunt for seals, which would normally hide near the rocks close to the shore, to avoid the situation. However, because of the high tide, the seals are exposed. Before that, they were only unofficially scary people who often filmed them, but the drone footage from Discovery Channel is on an entirely different level of creepy. In the Predator lunchtime theater, a seal swims straight towards a ravenous foe, seemingly oblivious to the very close proximity of the shark. In a matter of seconds, the shark lunges forward and launches and attacks. After a few moments, blood begins to surround the two as they are in the water. The shark then begins to shake the seal, which is ominous for the crew despite the fact that the experts assure us that the seal was probably already dead before the shark started shaking it. The aftermath of a tsunami. Drones are also used to observe natural disasters like tornadoes and tsunamis. Drones are used to discover things that have never been discovered before. Scientific American reports that on September 28, 2018, a 7.5 magnitude earthquake would occur close to the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. Although the earthquake only caused minor damage, it did cause what was initially thought to be a minor tsunami. Shortly after the tsunami, experts believed that the waves in Palu, the capital of the central Sulawesi province, would reach 20 feet, which is more than double the initial predictions. Since central Sulawesi is situated on a very long and narrow bay that is only about 20 miles wide, the tsunami quickly moved through the region, sweeping across the land and dumping tons of debris into the ocean on the opposite side of the bay. The ground also became extremely soggy, causing significant mudslides that only increased the total destruction caused by the tsunami within days of the disaster. One of the worst to hit Indonesia in more than a decade would kill over 4,300 people. Drone footage of the city would start to appear, and when you see the ruins from above, you can see the scale of what happened. You can see the damage done to the city, and it is absolutely terrifying how perfectly happy a place can be transformed into something like this, with bridges collapsed, houses being little more than debris, and some areas still underwater. What do you call a body that's been buried in the wrong tomb? A grave mistake. But we might get 72 grave mistakes that were found in a single lost tomb. Number 5. Drone finds lost tomb with 72 ancient skeletons. On the tourist island of Gran Canaria, a tomb containing the ancient remains of people from a lost pre-Hispanic civilization was discovered. A drone found the mummified remains of 72 skeletons that belonged to members of a society that lived there. The astounding discovery, made on the Gran Canaria Island and the Spanish Canary Islands, included 62 adult skeletons and 10 newborns. The cave dates to between 800 and 1000 AD. Experts have confirmed the discovery and connected it to the Guanche civilization. It is believed that the Guanche people were the first inhabitants of the Canary Islands and may have come from North Africa. Archaeologists would go down to the burial site, and there they found traditional burial shrouds made from vegetable fibers and animal skin, which confirmed that all prehistoric Hispanic people in the Canary Islands were prepared the same way for burial ceremonies. Historians believe that the people were ethnically and culturally absorbed by Spanish settlers when they colonized the island. The cave was first discovered using drones by a member of the amateur archaeology group El Legato, which was founded by 3 friends with a fascination for archaeology. One of them would say, "We were flying a drone and we took some pictures of the cave. It's in a very difficult place to access and you need to climb a cliff to reach the site." The cave is reportedly located 23 feet above ground, and experts had a hard time climbing up to it. Archaeologists have recently discovered a cave containing bones that can be used in their research and studies. Number 4. Remains of a 5,000-year-old hinge monument discovered in Ireland. In 2018, during an unprecedented 40-day drought, a photographer by the name of Anthony Murphy discovered the remains of a 5,000-year-old monument when he flew a camera drone above the field. The historical region, located 30 miles north of Dublin, Ireland, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that has been extensively studied and excavated. The area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that has been extensively studied and excavated. Murphy believed that this was the site of a hinge, an enclosure made of rocks or wood that the ancients would use as a gathering place with other tribes. It was crystal clear to see the stark contrast between the areas that had not yet had any significant objects placed on them and those that already had. According to Michael MacDonagh, the chief archaeologist for Ireland's National Monument Service, the discovery was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that could significantly advance their understanding of this mysterious archaeological landscape. Michael reported this after he had stated that he had been told by the person in charge of the investigation. Additionally, the recorded aerial footage that Anthony Murphy captured can be viewed by anyone because it is made available to the public. Number 3. A man climbing a 1,500-foot broadcast tower. Now, you can probably see cell phone towers all over the place and every day. But have you ever wondered how equipment at the top is installed or maintained? As it turns out, it's usually just someone who climbs a tower straight up. A cell phone tower is typically around 200 feet tall, which is certainly quite high. But what about a 1,500-foot broadcast tower? You might be thinking that there must be some sort of special way of doing maintenance on those. But nope, it's the same way that someone would climb a cell phone tower. While the climbers do have safety equipment, a lot of the heavy-duty equipment is, well, very heavy, as you can see in this video that shows one of these climbs, thanks to the wonders of drone technology. Even if you're not afraid of heights, there's a good chance that this would work on that equipment. It's essentially a free climb as well. The free climb is more than a quarter of a mile straight up. If you don't count the tip of the Willis Tower, which was formerly known as the Sears Tower in Chicago, it measures 1,450 feet, so this tower is actually 50 feet taller. What do you call it when a group of people survive a deadly plane crash? Just plain scary. Number 2. The 1965 California plane crash wreckage. An underwater drone might have just solved a 56-year-old aviation mystery when it made a startling discovery. A drone discovered an airplane using new sonar mapping, consistent with four-seater aircraft that would crash nearby in 1965. Search teams were unable to locate the Piper Comanche 250 or the 3 passengers who were on board that day after a mid-air collision on New Year's Day in 1965, leaving the victims' relatives in desperate need of closure. The pilot's body would later be found. After 3 full days of searching, exhausted volunteer divers from the 2014 search were forced to give up. However, when technicians from the Folsom-based hydrographic surveying company Seafloor Systems arrived at the lake to test their new equipment, they noticed something quite peculiar. While mapping the water's depths and the shape of the seafloor, they noticed a feature on the bottom of the lake that appeared to be a hole. It is important to note that the discovery was made in the deepest part of the lake, almost 160 feet underwater. The location is also several miles away from where the aircraft was believed to have gone down originally, but researchers are confident that it is the 1965 aircraft. Additionally, the team also noted the GPS coordinates of the lake's wreckage to aid potential recovery efforts. Much improvement in technology. Number 1. Stunning hidden Himalayan glacier. Every aspect of our modern lives is being revolutionized by technology, and drones allow us to record landscapes from the air, giving us breathtaking bird's-eye views of vast vistas, distant horizons, and dangerous terrain. The Himalayan mountain range is one of the most picturesque and beautiful places on Earth. It is made up of about 2,400 kilometers of landscapes and waterscapes, and is home to a diverse array of flora and fauna. The Himalayan region also has the 3rd largest amount of snow and ice on Earth, and about 15,000 glaciers of various sizes, many of which are still unexplored. A DJI Phantom drone was used by the Polish photographer David Kozlakowski to investigate a specific area of the K2 mountain while filming his documentary, K2 Touching the Sky and Looking for the Best Location. K2 is regarded as the 2nd highest mountain on the Earth. After setting up, he flew his equipment above the mountain close to Concordia, which is located below K2 at the point where the glaciers converge. When Godwin Austen and Baltoro discovered the 3rd glacier, it was an odd one that was surrounded by water 65 feet wide. He then thought that the newly discovered glacier was special because it allowed him to create an elegant graphic frame with the glacier's melting and disappearing forms that changed every day. He also knew he had a rare opportunity to photograph it because no one else would be able to see it in the same way during the next few years. The end result was a piece of photographic art that was surreal and unmatched in beauty. That's all for now. What do you think of the video? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want more content like this one, be sure to give this video a like and hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.